And I can't imagine, my dreams are terrible. The stress of trying to figure out what's the right thing to do, the families and what they meant to the system. You mentioned it in the beginning, and I miss that because I don't get to meet the kids. I don't get to meet the parents. I don't get to meet the best friend, whoever the team is. I only get to meet the core person now, usually via Zoom, to say, what am I doing with my parent? What legal documents do I need? Oh my God, how am I supposed to pay for this? What's going on? But I don't get that whole, the real thing, which is the friends that, I don't even know how to articulate this, Dan. It's so overwhelming to me to think about somebody coming to live in your place and having the door locked on them. And what does that look like in the future? If I were in charge, I still don't know how I would do it. I'm a bossy gal. How would I do it? I know the staff have the shot now. I know my residents that they want it. But what do I allow for access into the facility?
Well, right now, unfortunately, we're still following, or well, not unfortunately, but we are required to follow the regulations from CMS and from KDADS. So until there's further changes there, we're still following the no visitation only based upon, or unless it's compassionate care visits. And we have to follow the county positivity rate. And if we're in a current outbreak, all those different factors play a point in it. So one of the challenges with the vaccine has been, why can't I see my loved one? I got the vaccine, they got the vaccine. Why can't I see it? And I don't have a good answer yet, other than the regulations.
Uncharted territories, regulations made by people who are trying to put Band-Aids on major flesh wounds. And that was my Monty Python thought that was going through my head. Flesh wound, like, yes. So they don't know what to do. I think we're going to see a lot of change in the next few months, where the people who are sitting down with their pens and paper, scribbling out how's this going to work, are realizing, okay, the importance of connection, the importance of seeing your family is immeasurable in terms of physical and mental health. We have that. I'm a part of a group called the Kansas Advocates for Better Care, and it's a not-for-profit that is basically agitates and educates, maybe tells people how important it is to advocate for seniors. And one of the big pushes right now is access, access, access. So those rules that we're all following sounded pretty good. Like you could set up a room where the family could come in. It was a controlled environment. It wasn't just the compassion. It was, you could set up a room where the kids could come in and the mom could come in, and they can, so long as that is a controlled space. But if the COVID numbers in the community are high, that all goes to pot, right?
Essentially, yes. So what you're talking about is inside visitation. And so we did that. We have an area for our long-term care and for our assisted living residents to have inside visitation. There's still protocols. They still need to be 6 feet apart. They're still wearing masks. They're still being screened. All those protocols are in place, but visually seeing them makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
But currently, based upon the county positivity rate being over 10%, we're not allowed to do inside visitation unless it's a compassionate care visit. And trust me, I bet you and I can go, you know, we could have drinks and talk for hours about what's the definition of compassionate care.
I promised you this was supposed to be like a 2-minute thing, but the problem is I have hours worth of therapy, just like your clients and their parents calling you up. I want to say, Dad,
Right.
You know, I'm used to bumping into you at places where we have a shared interest in finding out what our community is doing for seniors, what resources do our seniors have, and then the camaraderie that we build over, oh my goodness, can you see this horrible scenario or this wonderful scenario? Feeling like you're in some kind of a similar boat is missing. I miss it hugely. It's a hole that I see. If I were to see you at Hy-Vee, even though I probably am not supposed to, I'd probably grab your neck, like, because I miss that feeling of people who share my same passion for looking after seniors. So I get it when the kids call you and 30 minutes go by and all they did was babble. I am totally doing that to you. And so Grace is going to cut out all of this middle stuff where I'm just telling you how great it is to see you. And I'm glad that you're looking after people, because I wanted to get a message to the community that you are doing everything you can, that the vaccine is here, that you're giving it to your staff, that you're giving it to your people, that it's in a light. It's a little candle. It's a flickering of hope. It's
I would
positive news.
totally agree with you, Samantha. And I think that's the key thing that everyone has to remember right now. Yes, the last 11 months have not been the most fun to deal with, but we are a very vibrant species. We can survive, and not just survive, but become better from it. And the point that I talk to my staff about all the time is it starts up here and in here. You got to have the positive attitude to make a meaningful change. And when you have that attitude, even in the middle of stressful situations, you will always prioritize the resident. You will always prioritize the people that you're caring for. The biggest difference between long-term care and hospitals, hospitals take care of an acute issue for a short period of time. Long-term care, we care for an individual for their life, and
It's
that
their home.
includes
It's their home. You are
includes
their family.
everything: their family, their psychosocial, their physical needs, their mental needs, their spiritual needs. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We are making connections with residents. Residents are connecting even though they can't be sitting right next to each other. And we should celebrate those. We should celebrate those little wins.
So that begs the question, what does it look like inside of Colonial right now in terms of the dining rooms? How are there any community activities permitted?
So once again, based upon if you have an outbreak or not, you can do certain things. So we are able to offer shift communal dining. And what that means is it's one person per table. They're 6 feet apart from each other, but they are able to eat in the dining room. And that is very important for a lot of reasons. The socialization, but also allowing our caregivers to be able to lay eyes on them as they eat, depending on their needs. We can also do small group social distance activities. We can do one-on-one activities. We have purchased and provided the means for Zoom calls, FaceTime calls. I have more iPads in my community than I ever thought I would ever have. But those are ways that we can interact and celebrate. We did, a unique thing we did was a holiday winter wonderland where I asked
You dress
all
up
of the
as Santa?
no Santa, but it was
Okay.
lights and sound and like blow up Christmas decorations. And
Okay.
what we got is we got the families involved and asked for donations. And then we sent it and created it in the middle of our courtyard for our healthcare residents, and they loved it. I just have residents that would sit at the window, stare outside when it was bad weather, or go outside when they can just, look at the lights and the sound. It reminded them of Deanna Rose Farm or that business park on Metcalf that always did it. And, those were special moments. Yeah.
I'm grateful that you did that. I met with a man this morning who is at the end of his rope. His daughter is also crying as part of this conversation, saying, Dad, there's a balance and you're caring for mom and it's killing you. You're not sleeping. She doesn't know who you are. It's time. She's not toileting, all of these strains. And he still says, I don't know that I can do that because I'll never get to see her again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to say, well, actually, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know when, but I know we're there. We're on the train. It's moving.
I would agree.
And you see it as well. You feel like.
I do. I think that the vaccine will have a positive impact on the ability for families to reconnect with their loved ones. I think it might be a few more months, but I'm thinking and hopeful that maybe by around summer that we start seeing some regulations changing and some better guidance on people who did receive the vaccine and what that might look for visitation.
I'm holding fast for June. I'm just saying, in my mind, if I set that as a realistic timeline, I think by June the doors will be largely open. That's my theory. We will have gotten a little bit ahead. Now, that's it's like buying a lottery ticket. I don't have any knowledge.
Right.
But for what I get
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And I think there's some things that are